here's our workstation out here. We got the wood box set down. We've got the chipper right here. This is our access, kind of public access. And we can come right out of our yard over here. So that's a great, that's gonna work out really well. And there's our tree. So you see we're up over the house. Get the sun out of there. We're up over the house a little bit, but we'll be able to bring stuff back. We'll pull stuff back over here. We'll get this out of the way quick, and then we'll pull stuff back from there and just hang it out here and then put her down. So Game of Trees, we're having fun. Nope, it didn't bust out of there. There's steel here. Steel right there, there's steel right there. I'd be careful. Did you get something? We got staining. But looks like you're cutting a little. Yeah, you got something a little bit. Oh, Game of Trees, we're having fun. Alright, time to go up. We got airplanes on the ice today. He's got skis. Another guy just landed with wheels. So, yeah, pretty cool. Oh, here comes one in for a landing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, cool. Stand clear. Yeah, I did. I'm convinced it's mostly I got along these tree spikes, and I'm mostly climbing on pretty, you know, shallow bark trees. Coming at you. Well, I'm not this I could get gutsy and try to put this whole top over there in the yard, but not from here.
Not from this. That would be gutsy. That'd be very close to the fence. But if I went up a little higher, but then and if I take a little bit of back weight off towards the house, that could be beneficial too. But, you know, we're gonna have a string anyways. So all of our mess is right down here. Is this the hanger you were talking about? Wow, look at that. He wants to stay a hanger. Yeah, you think they're a fly-in. This is your cheap fly-in fishing trip. Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe some Canadian guy. We're gonna fly into the deepest inland lake. It's interesting. I see a vehicle out there in the deep water. I mean, to take a risk of a 240-foot extraction, that I wouldn't be driving my Bobcat out there. No, Leo's been out there fishing for lake trout, and he says it's 10 to 12 inches. I'm just going up. It's pretty thick. I think we'll come straight to the block. Yeah, you're right. I should have put one in down there, but I'll just go up here and then I'll move the one down. We're pretty much right above the. Of course, you could have said that to me when I was down there. You know what though, Mike? Like, I was never thinking that. So yeah, like I wasn't even thinking you're looking at putting multiple blocks in here. And I'm not inclined to rappel down just to do that. I suppose I could take the block apart and put one in down there, but I don't intend to be down there anytime soon. Oh, on the patio, or on the deck up there, second floor deck. We don't have a ladder on any of these trucks, do we? All right, we gotta get up here and see what kind of decay I have. And how high I want to climb. Oh, I suppose this would take the clothesline out if I drop this one. But you know, I mean, yeah, sure, I could just drop a bunch of stuff, but then well, this shouldn't come apart too bad. I can drop these other ones, but this one I'll take off right here. Might as well give you guys something to do. Okay, I'm just gonna back cut that. Yeah, take a half wrap. Oh yeah, you better believe it. We're rigging. Let me put a little scar on there with my handsaw. With a little baby notch. Are you ready? Yeah, so no broken branches, no nothing. It's just hanging there ready to go to the chipper. Okay, pull that right back to the top. I'll make 2 drop cuts here. We'll see how those go. Leave that right there. and you can line them all up. Stand clear, Terry. The butt the other way? No, I'm not. That'll put it too close to the house. You lazy brown guy. He says you gotta lay the butt the other way. That way, there I suspended the butt so you don't have to lift it so much. You can just sort of pivot it. Okay, cutting a little notch. Okay, we gotta get this one to bypass these.
Over here.
Oh, yeah, I think my gaff out issues are years of malpractice. I was pushing with that, and I'm pushing with my toe over here, and I leveraged my spike right out of the tree. All right, got a nice open face notch.
Got a little bit of lean. It wants to go over there and hang up in there, but
Maybe with the notch direction. Branch coming. Oh man, my rope just gonna be there all day. Yeah, I can get it on the back side of the tree. Yeah, tie it on the bag. I'll get it in a better spot.
all right, it's gonna tap out here. I'm gonna get my tying point up there.
So I got this block. This is my first block. It's gonna kind of come right here. I smoothed out the bark here so there's not really friction.
Got an upper block there. We're gonna rig all this off over here now. So, and I'm tied in above it. You know, they talk about not using your tie-in and a rigging point. You just got to stay within the capacity of everything.
Now this is a formerly top tree. We got a lot of closure here. The integrity is pretty good here. There's probably decay in the middle of here a little bit, so we're just gonna,
You know, take light rigs off the top. It should all be good. We got a little up there for ballast, and Game of Trees, we're having fun.
what? I see that. It's all gonna kind of go like this. We'll make a drop cut so maybe our butt hits first. It might end up hitting pretty flat. All right, Mike, I want my Milwaukee, and I want a new chain on this thing. Do not sharpen these chains. That's what I'm saying. Mike and I had a discussion. This wasn't cutting yesterday, and he's like, I don't know how you got a hold of that. It wasn't even sharpened. So he sharpened it again. And these safety chains, I tell you, it's like if you gotta sharpen them more than once, you might as well throw them away. And I gotta upgrade these to like Panther bars. But yeah, Terry, when you go out, just bring my Milwaukee back here. It's like that was arguing with me, and I should not have had to worry about that hinge. Open that up just a little. All right. Oh, that busted up a little bit when it hit. So if we rigged that, it'd be all in one piece. So did I really save time by sending it? That's the question.
That is the question.
I got it redirected right here. It's gonna come straight down. So it's gonna tangle my line. Hold it above the house. Ugh. Yeah, you gotta kind of hold it where it's at. There's not a lot of extra space.
All right, we're gonna dump this one off the top.
I'm gonna cut a notch quick. I'll suffer through this with this saw.
We're gonna kind of make it go this way.
Yeah, but what you can't feel is how hard I'm pushing. Mike was saying that he's throwing some sawdust.
Well,
But I'm cranking into it. That's why I was gaffing out. I had to leverage my toe against the trunk. I'm pushing the saw so hard, I'm gaffing out. All right, pull her up, but don't swing it into the windows.
no, I don't send saws down on rigs. That's just about the time it slams into the trunk. Alrighty. Now don't pull on this. Just let it hang. No, there's some right by me here. Right here there's some, and another little one, but it's that whole top above me. Now you're not pulling this, are you?
Give me back
Just a little. I'm gonna hook this over here. Yeah, there we go.
All right, hold it, you know, above the house.
We can shock it a little bit. Here it comes.
Yeah, no problem. That was doable. I could check a little email and you guys can get that out of there.
You know, this is just gonna no, it's not that long. You'll see. This is cutting way nice.
I'll get out of the way. Yeah, that's what I was hoping they would do. Yeah, just let her run a little bit. It's leaning against your rope. Okay, good deal. Now we just got wood over here.
Nice little exit here, don't we? That's nice.
Okay, Mike, we're gonna take a small piece of wood here.
You'll have to keep it high because it's probably gonna swing a little bit. A little bit of tear factor there to slow down our swing. All right. Well, it's responding pretty well. I think my integrity's there.
Doesn't look like we'll break our pinnacle if I keep them small. I can probably send some here. We don't have any fragile stuff on the lawn there, do we? I'll send one more. I can sling this small one here. Send a little bit of wood with it. And then I can probably flop some flat down there. Since we got frozen ground, might as well take advantage of that option. rather than rig on this pinnacle. Tie my bowline back in here with the Yosemite finish just to make it clean. I just like how that, you know, everything nests real well in there. All right, pull her up tight, take a wrap. Worst case scenario, this piece breaks off. So, you know, keep your head up. But I think we're gonna leave enough wood on there to. Do you want to kind of lift it? Yeah, well, that'll be less dynamic. But don't crank, you know, just tension it and wait till I get it down to a hinge so that you're not overloading my pinnacle. Let's go over to this side and see where we're at. Yeah, we're coming around. There we go. Pendulum never returns from whence it came. Kind of makes you think, yeah. You know, and if there's a stub, buyer beware. For sure. All right, now I would like my 550 up here because we're gonna want a real saw to deal with this wood. I think I got the right height. Just a hair long. Could have opened the notch just a tiny bit farther, but it's mostly the length that matters. Or I could have put a hand on it quick. So if that one was long, then I could take this in two and I'll probably be fine. So I'll make this one a little shorter. But our ground seems pretty hard down there. Didn't get her around. It even used up that little extra I gave it. So we're not getting the rotation inertia on these. I'm gonna make a baby notch on this one. Get a little. This is a little shorter yet. Now we got over rotation. Let's switch this around. Mike, you got my saw backwards. Right to left. I know, but the Milwaukee's all together. The Milwaukee's all together different because it's just a ring. It's kind of hard to see. And I didn't switch the Milwaukee. That was just the way you put it on there. So the ring is a little harder to see where you're going. But the back handle's always right to left. My little nuances. So I just threw those twigs on the balcony, and I say to the guys, I say, remind me to grab those twigs before I get off this trunk. And Terry's like, Kevin, don't forget to get those twigs off the deck when you come by. So now the onus is back on me to remember. Tell me in the comments what you think about that. Yeah. And then I cut my hinge, and it was Mike's fault. He was setting wedges instead of looking at what I was doing. I'm just gonna sling it. You know, I've got such arthritis in my thumbs that I don't always trust my grip anymore. That's pretty demoralizing. All right, we might get some shrapnel off of this for sure. There'll be some more on the deck before I'm done with this. I'll try to let it break off of here nice and slow. Oh yeah, right. Nice and slow. Now it's on the roof. Hey guys, don't forget to tell me to get that off the roof before I go below it. Well, worst case scenario, we'll have to get a that was dead. Okay, let's see here. Should I put a sling up here for my redirect? I think I will. Let's get up here. Okay. Now we'll get my little tag line off of here. All right. Okay, we got that. Tag line is set. Rigging line is set. Yeah, but we want to keep it under control. Now I got an issue on this one. Shoot. It wants to go that way. I want that underneath. My climbing line. Right? Well, it's gonna go to that one, so tighten up the yellow line. Get that all snug. This one is going there. Let me see here. Ultimately, we're doing this one later, but so I'm just making sure I'm on the right side of the world here on everything. Okay. Yeah, so you can tension yours. Put a crank on yours and then we'll get it going that way for sure. And then Cherry, you're just gonna let it run because I don't want it hitting me. Oh, it just didn't quite jump over there. Well, you can let her run off of there and it'll come off. Oh, I was kind of hoping it would bounce through. Didn't quite give us that. Now I'm wishing I didn't leave this stub. Oh, yeah, Terry, you gotta let her go. Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, well, we're on the railing. Just lower it to the ground. You guys will have to grab it with the loader and pull it out of there. No harm, no foul. It's all okay. All right, now we know how that's gonna go. This next one should spin through. That was the elevated one, so. All right. Oh, now my rope, my yellow rope gets put on the wrong side of the world when it comes up here. So this has to go under. And this has to go under. All right, we're rigged. This should be the same ordeal. Yeah, crank her up. Okay, you crank through the back cut. Perfect. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. So that gets the tips up high enough so they get through the crotch. The opening. The union. Yeah, I gotta have the correct nomenclature here. All right. Oh, so we're out here. See this ice wall that surged up here? This is Green Lake in central Wisconsin. It's 240 feet deep out there. This bay is really shallow. So it comes up and there's a steep shelf that comes up into the shallow. I mean, that shanty out there through that tree right there, that's probably still 10 feet deep right there. This is very shallow, way out. The docks along here are like 50, 60, 70 foot docks way out there. So it's kind of nice area. It's all sand bottom here. But the phenomenon is you get an east wind or something and it'll push ice. This will be frozen in here and it's open water out in the deep water. And so that water, that those waves will push the ice, and they can get the ice wall can come up onto the land and wreck buildings too. But yeah, that probably got pushed on a windy day one day. Little trivia. All right, pull them up. Pull up the yellow. Just pull the yellow. I'll pull the green, the orange. Yeah, we don't want them crossed. We don't want them catching on some stub. There we go. All right, now we gotta stay under my line. All right, we'll tap out here. I'm gonna go up and get one of these big ones. Okay, we've got a pretty long pole here. Terry, this one, kind of pull up your slack as you go, and just sort of kind of hold it as you can, right? So, because we're gonna rely on you to keep its elevation over the house. I'm gonna set the hinge kind of going almost straight at the block. This branch here might get in my way a little bit, but by that time it's breaking sideways. But then we're gonna be totally clear of the house. Do you follow? Okay. We're gonna find out. Mike, you're gonna crank through the back cut. I'm gonna cut a shallow notch. You know, it helps if I start the motor. These muscle memory on these battery saws, I tell you. Now, I could have went up and took off some smaller pieces, but I think it's got it. My goal is for you to catch some of the weight. So pull up the slack as you're able. All right, Mike, I'm making the back cut. Yeah, you better believe we're glad it's on 2 ropes. No, yeah, you really didn't have much friction. But, you know, you did everything you had to do. We got it clear of the house. And, you know, maybe the house was never in play. Just the way that was working. But always good to have a little tension. And you know, I didn't want it necessarily landing on that other pinnacle, except we're pulling back this way against that lead. So it's not like that's going way out and pulling that lead down. It's kind of coming between them, you know, and then between these 2 angles, we got a little bit of compression force. So we're sharing the load. Is that going to lower out of there or catch on us? Push the rope, Mike. Push it. Push that rope. Walk under there and shake your rope. Maybe, Terry, you can shake that rope loose. It's just barely hanging on a twig. There you go. Let her run. Push that rope. Push that rope. Yeah, a little jammed up. All right, well, it wasn't as pretty as we could have had it, but you know, it got down there. All right, good deal. So that was the biggest piece. We got like 3 more rigs off of this. I can hand toss some stuff, and then or I'll just take that whole thing, I'll cut it down there. Yeah, so we'll take this one, then this one, and that'll be our... So we were talking about how to send up two lines like this. At least one carabiner has to be through both ropes so that you can take one carabiner off and you can hook the other one on your saddle. You never have a chance of losing a rope, and then you get one carabiner put on, and then you can take one rope off and clip it on and do the other one. So anyways, just a small little hack. All right, this one you don't have to crank too badly. All right, start your engines, gentlemen. Oh, yeah, you held on to that one, Terry. That one you could let run a little bit, Terry, but all is well. Now I tell him. Didn't you read my mind on that one, Terry? Yeah, you did it just like the last time. That's all right. It only almost hit me. I think I can send these two little ones off. Well, I really don't need to. No sense making a mess if we can keep it neat. So yeah, when you have one of the carabiners, through both of the ropes, now I can just hold on to this. I can take off this carabiner. I can set this. All right, now that's, take this off, go on there. So I'm just gonna handsaw cut this dead piece off. Should have cut that off before I brought the... Okay. Okay, we're throwing this down. Are you guys clear? All right. This should just float away from me. Yeah, so I didn't even film this this drop here, but it was good. It just sort of floated out there and went down there. It was a nice drop. Worked just like we said. I had a nice little shallow notch here. Man, this almost looks like walnut in the middle. I'll guarantee you that's dirt. When you get that down, Mike, take a look at it. Yeah, that is like frozen dirt. Probably squirrel dung. Yeah, look at the end of that log. Yeah. Well, I think as a frozen product, it probably cut pretty well without dulling my saw. But we'll see. We'll see. I made that pretty thick. I know, didn't want it to break off, and now I can't break it off. You devil. I made a hazard. I'm trying to prevent the hazard. man just doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. All right, are we ready? I'm just gonna back cut it and let it cellulose hinge. As Cherry says, if this goes the way I'm planning, this is all right. So a lot of times in situations like this where your climbing line is in the way of the rigs, very critical, make sure your rope's on the right side of the world. So this is over the top of my line, it's going to go this way. So this tag line comes underneath my climbing line, and that comes on the, you know, on the right side of that. So when this comes over, these guys are going to pull up the slack, and these carabiners are going to go right over my line, and it's going to go down. So game of trees, we're having fun, says Mike. That's right. We'll see if any of those carabiners catch my line. Then we'll see how much fun we're having. Yeah, my little push of the hand meant something right there. Yeah, I got the chain brake on before I did that. But yeah, I thought, you know what, that's gonna hit me in the jaw. So we got a hand on there. So I stopped cutting just as it started to break. Interesting little phenomenon going on here. That could be the flat-headed apple tree borer. Or something else. All right, that's one of our last pieces of brush. I can send just about that whole top. I think I might want to send that with that brush on there, so that it lays down a little better. Then I can cut it right down there and just lay that whole big thing down. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, wrap it around your waist, Jerry. Yeah, go like that. Yeah, just yeah, twist it around there like that, just so you can't come off. Yeah, that works until it doesn't. All right, Mike, you're cranking this. Okay, well, I'll cut it till it starts to move. I did not want it to pop off. I wanted to break over. I don't think we were going to do it any other way, unless we didn't quite tension it so much and we just sort of cut it and then cranked it, cut it, cranked it. We kind of got more tension. So that's what happened there, folks. We had a lot of tension thinking we needed it, but if we wanted that to come off and get as much slack as possible, we would have wanted to not break all that. So a little bit at a time, just enough to lift it, inch it along with the saw, and that would have come off a lot nicer. But you know, all's well that ends well. Like I said, we're kind of pulling on, we're not like, you know, yarding on that top out that way. We're pulling back against it, so not too bad. You could put that piece of wood right next to that sidewalk so that we know right where that is. And then when we pull pieces off of here with the loader, we know where to pull. All right, we can lift this piece off, and then another one, and then we'll just pull that one off with the loader. All right, we got a plan. Are you ready? Don't hit the back gut, don't crank, just okay, just, oh, now that wrapped around your rope again. All right, it's probably worth it for me to go over there and reduce down to that other tie-in point. Unless we can take one more like that. I mean, that didn't shake me around too much. This little chunk here is about the same as that chunk there. It'd be a slightly heavier, but we got a better rope angle this time, now that we're a little lower. So as you get lower, farther away from your block, you get a better rope angle, and this will come off of here on a better swing. So yeah, let's do one more just like this. Okay, this time, so this can be a lift. So the piece is going up. We're going to tie the knot down. Come over the back side of this. So your second wrap comes below the force. All right, now we can pull off the back of this, and that'll get us over a ways. Now you don't make just a huge deep notch on this. You want to come back, you want this tip forward on the front half of this log when you're lifting with the GRCS. We're shaking the top a little bit on that one. That was our heaviest piece. So I could jump over there and we could rig a couple more pieces off. I kind of like that. I don't like the idea of one bouncing funny down there. I might as well just jump over there and reduce my block. All right, we're gonna tap out for that. I'm gonna run up there, get that block out of there, and from that block position, we'll be able to take this bigger wood. So I don't wanna test my pinnacle any more than I have. Oh, beautiful. Good guess. There we go. Glad I don't have that on the little pinnacle. Wow, that just wrapped that rope up. You got some friction on the rope. Yeah, I thought it would reverse. No, it wants to keep going the other way. All right. So a couple of crew distractions here, or discussions, I should say, not distractions. We're looking at, we're pulling the main trunk over to that maple there. We've got some concrete walk right here. And so I was thinking, oh, do we pull both of these over from here? And then we'll have this big wobbly thing that'll land in the frozen ground. It's like, it's a lot of back weight. And we thought, nothing wrong with a short trunk, right? We'll just I can take another 2 chunks off of this, and then it's, whatever. And then second discussion, I just did a bowline on the last one, and it kind of ended up being center tied when all was done. And, and that's kind of, how a bowline, it kind of slip out of there if it's too close to one end or the other. So, what's wrong with another little 1/2 inch, right? So a couple little discussions worthy of note. All right, we're gonna lift this off of here. Cut a baby knot. Oh, almost got a bounce off of that trunk. It hit that trunk flat. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. How close was that to me, Mike? About a foot. That would have hurt. That would have hurt. So as that came over, I should have shot back like this. I mean, in the back, that would have hurt. Now, most of the inertia got there, it was off a bounce. But still, when you get hit by a whale, it doesn't take that much to hurt you. So that was close. I don't think the peripheral vision of the camera got that, but all right. Hey, yeah, I had a little bit on the other side. Okay, let's see, unwrap this time. All right, that's our last piece. So now I can drop that whole thing off. I'm pretty sure it doesn't reach the boat lift. What do you guys think?
All right, we got a block on there. My climbing line was up there, so I'm just gonna have them give a little tug on it.
Comes all the way back. I'm tied to the other half, but you know, this should, I was thinking of cutting it below my feet here, but I thought, oh, does it tag those branches in that maple? And then I'm gonna have branches to take down. We got a little back lean this way, so you gotta actually pull, Terry. We didn't even tag that little Douglas fir there. No, because it kind of had to lean over this way and I didn't want it to go that way. So I thought, well, let's get it all the way away from the lean. All right. Yeah, actually I went right at the fir, but it broke, the hinge broke early. I mean, it broke with the weight. So I think I did the right thing. Of course I did the right thing. So we put in a request to the other crew for a ladder. And Terry just reminded me as I got right here. Well, not sure if we're getting that ladder, Kev. So you might want to get twigs off the deck. So Terry officially remembered. You got a rake right down there? Yeah, well, that would make it a little expedited, yeah. Yeah, I can reach that, I think. I can snag it with the rake, or you know, maybe. Okay, you might have to put a little heavier carabiner on there. Oh, I got a hold of it. Thought about coming. Well, now I can get it with the rake. All right, mission accomplished. All right, well, you don't have to watch me rake. All right, so here's our stem. You know, this is probably... All right, so we have an old codominant. This may be 3 codominants. And everything looks pretty well fused here, but we got pretty good back weight hanging off the back. You know, you just wouldn't want this to like somehow come apart on the fall. We thought about putting a block up there and coming down here, but then that kind of puts a cantilever kind of thing on this. We don't want it splitting apart the bottom by putting pressure on that. So we thought, well, let's put a couple of straps on here and, you know, put the ratchets on the back side of the fall. And, you know, these aren't, you got to watch out because these can come apart when it hits. But, you know, usually these will hold it as we go here. And then we're pulling from the pinnacle. We got pretty good pull. So anyways, just a couple extra precautions. Mike's gonna whittle away at this, so take her away, Mike. They are. Yeah, maybe under this timber he's got a little place. These are otter tracks right here, walking along. Yeah, look at the big pads. Large member of the weasel family. So there's a good one. Big back foot, front foot. Yeah, cool. They probably got a den in the rocks here somewhere along the shore. But climbed up over here and slid down. Yeah, cool. Game of trees, we're having fun. Well, it'll be interesting to see what we hit in there. Okay. Okay, go. Come down on it. Yeah. Now close the grapple. There you go. Just don't throw it into the window. There you go. We love the Intrepid. The Intrepid got its glory moment right here. Yeah, so I had a little crossover right there. So do you pick up this? Okay. Yeah, let's see what we got. Might have to cut grooves in there. See if you can get a oh, look at that. Back wheels off the ground. That's too bad.
Alright, I'll start on it.
All right, well, let's see if it takes this one.
Oh, shoot, there's
Oh, yeah. All right, that works. Yeah, we got to make her just a little smaller. One more cut. I suppose we're cutting through dirt in the middle of there too, aren't we?
Summer heat and tundra cold and throwing a storm of three. Stakes are high, there's always a risk when you're playing the game of trees.